Wait, you're telling me that some people still believe that fat gets you fat? Watch this video and I'm gonna give you a step-by-step guide on how to lose that fupa and that bat wing in 2025.
Hey guys,
My name's Michelle.
Anita, Sarah, Leah, Peyton, Talia, Jazz,
Marquita.
I'm a physique.
Products.
Period. You love to see.
You already know what this is. It is Trehunna from The Secret Set. And a lot of people still think that fat gets you fat. And a lot of people is trying to lose that back roll, trying to tone up their body in 2025, yet it's following the same game plan as what they was trying to do in 2024. Today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to start working smarter, not harder. And the best way for you to actually get off the fat, believe it or not, is you understanding what gets you fat in the first place. What is the main thing that's causing people to become a little bit more overweight? Believe it or not, it's not the avocado on the toast. It is not you getting that stick of butter and you slapping it on some toast. Believe it or not, it might be the thing that you're applying the cream cheese, the butter, and the avocado on. It's gonna be the toast or the refined carbs. So if you're somebody who has been doing some research and trying to lose some weight, you probably heard that, oh, all carbs are bad, and hey, you might have to follow a keto diet for you to lose weight. Now me and a lot of us minorities, we love our carbs. So I'm gonna basically teach you how to still have your cake and eat it too with this one simple tip. In order for you to understand what makes us gain weight, specifically coming from fat, you gotta understand that the main driver of this all is called hormones. So you already know about hormones. You know that men got a little bit more testosterone and women got a little bit more estrogen. Your cortisol hormone is in a catecholamine family. Long story short, these are your stressor hormones, right? But the main hormone that causes people to gain weight, believe it or not, is insulin. When you have type 2 diabetes, they make you take more what? Insulin. So how is the insulin that you are receiving that's going to help you manage your glucose levels? It's also the same thing that's making you put on weight. Just to give you an analogy, your body is like a cup. Everybody has a certain set number of carbohydrates that they can have in a day. Keep in mind, carbohydrates is literally telling your body to store energy and to retain water. Carbohydrates in a plant is the storage form of energy in a plant. So when a human receives carbohydrates from a plant or from a processed food source, then you're telling your body to store energy. So that's the first thing I want you to keep in mind. When you're giving your body carbohydrates, your body gotta burn this first before it can start tapping into its body fat faster. And people are doing a ketogenic diet. What they're doing is they're giving their body fat as the main source of fuel. And the main reason why is because once your body get rid of the fat that you just ate, your body's gonna start tapping into its own body fat. People who are doing keto kind of skipping a step, start burning body fat. But now if you're intaking carbs day in and day out, you can still burn body fat. It's just not going to be as fast as somebody who's just following more of a ketogenic diet. Now keep in mind, your body only requires 1 teaspoon of sugar per day, especially if you're in a fasted state, which means that you didn't eat nothing for a whole 24 hours. Your body's only circulating 1 teaspoon of sugar in your whole entire bloodstream. 1 teaspoon of sugar is only 4 grams of carbs. That is not a lot. Our issue is we give our bodies a copious amount of sugar and carbohydrates. And by the way, carbohydrates and sugar breaks down to the exact same thing, which is glucose. Your body doesn't know the difference. And because we give our body an excess amount of glucose, then your body has to do something with it. And guess what? It's just going to convert this glucose into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. Everybody has a different set amount of carbs they can intake a day. What dictates how big your cup is? How active you are? Are you in a chronic stress state? Along with genetics. But the main driver of it all is going to be how much muscle mass you have. If you have more muscle mass, you can have more carbs. If you do not have a lot of muscle mass, then you cannot have as much carbs. But one thing that I teach my clients is the carb number is not the issue at all. It's the quality of the carb. That is the issue. People who are trying to lose weight, majority of carbs come from processed foods. Things like high fructose corn syrup, things like Twinkies and smoothies and bread and cereal. These are processed foods. But if you're somebody who's trying to lose weight, you want to have more carbs coming from vegetables, And then after more vegetables, you can have a little bit of carbs coming from fruit. Reason being is because vegetables naturally has more fiber in it than something like fruit. Why is fiber so important? When your body is breaking down these vegetables and fruit, if something has less fiber in it, that means it's going to spike your glucose levels higher. And if your glucose levels are spiked higher, then you're going to be in a state of hyperglycemia, which means that your body got to produce a little bit more insulin, which is the what? The storage hormone, which means what? You're not going to be in a fat burning state faster than somebody who's not having as high of a glucose spike. So once again, the higher your glucose levels are, the more insulin your body got to produce. Now, somebody who got type 2 diabetes, they're somebody where their insulin levels are so high and their body's not responding to their insulin anymore. They got to get an outside source of insulin for their body to even respond to it. That is the main reason why people who have type 2 diabetes, they are taking insulin. The insulin is to help them make sure that they are not corroding their arteries and damaging their vessels faster than usual. Because sugar itself is going to corrode your veins, your arteries. That's why something like AMD, which is age macular degeneration, that means that people are literally going blind because the vessels in their eyes is dying. That's only going to happen when somebody's in a hyperglycemic state. All the time on average. Let's say every single time you give your body any type of carbs, you start off your day with some Starbucks, right? Yeah, there's some sugar to it. You just put some water in this cup. Then you decide to have some popcorn to hold you over for lunch. But now you're having lunch. And you always heard that Subway is going to help you lose weight because Jerry did it, right? But keep in mind, it got a lot of bread in it, right? So, of course, you're going to fill up the cup a little bit more. You have a little snack again on the commute home from work. You're going to fill up that cup even more, and you actually have your dinner. If you come from a minority family, what do we usually have? A starch, a vegetable, protein. What's going to happen is, if you're somebody who didn't work out that day, that cup is going to start spilling over. When you give your body too much carbs, your body has to convert all this extra carbs into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. If you are giving your body too much carbs on an average day, then your body's going to start converting some of this carbs into fat. But if you're giving your body more fat, butter, or actually more protein, let's say you get a steak and it has the truffle butter on top because you had a steakhouse, right? You're going to literally stop yourself from eating that steak. You're never going to overeat steak. And the main reason why is because your body's actually getting full from that steak. And based off the hormones that your body's producing, like peptide YY or cholecystokinin, these are hormones that's telling your body,
hey, I actually see some protein, I actually see some fat. We actually got some food with some nutrient density in it. So we can stop being hungry.
Now this hormones is going to your brain, and now your brain is recognizing that, oh, this person's eating, so we can stop. But what happens when you have a half a dozen donuts in front of you? You can literally eat 3 to 4 donuts easily, and 2 donuts already got more calories in it than that 1 steak alone. So why is it easier for you to overeat the donuts than the steak? It's because your hormones is picking up the signal that you're actually eating. And when you're eating the donuts, because it got no fiber in it, it just tastes good, but there's a whole lot of empty calories. Now your body's not recognizing that you're actually eating, so you can keep eating that. But now you're over consuming calories. Are all calories created equal? No. Do you have to count calories for you to lose weight? Believe it or not, you don't. You just gotta make sure majority of your calories is coming from things that are nutrient dense, opposed to something that is empty calories. But because we live in a generation where majority of our calories is coming from processed foods, you're going to McDonald's, you're not cooking anymore, right? You do not know what ingredients they are putting inside your food, and you're eating that daily, but you're expecting the scale to drop. One thing you can do right now for you to start losing weight a little bit more and unbigging your back is making sure that majority of your foods are whole foods. I want you to start focusing on eating things that existed before me and you. Have a little bit more sweet potatoes versus white potatoes. If it's white, it's not right. And a white man taught me that. Have less refined sugar. Have less white bread. Have less pastas and cereals or man-made foods. But another thing you gotta pay attention to is making sure you're not drinking your calories, only eating your calories. So you was probably taught that, oh, you gotta eat 5 times a day to boost your metabolism. Yet, if you had a dog that is overweight and you need your dog to lose weight, are you gonna feed your dog 5 times a day, or are you gonna feed them a little bit less in general? Everybody knows we're gonna feed the dog less in general. But for some odd reason, we're humans and we think we're different. The reason why they told you you're supposed to eat 5 times a day, believe it or not, it boosts your metabolism. Every single time you put food in your system, you're technically revving up your metabolism. But that does not mean you revving up your metabolism is gonna help you lose weight. Believe it or not, your metabolism is higher when your weight is heavier. So when your weight is higher, your metabolism is faster. But you was thinking that, oh, when I get heavier, my metabolism is slower. So that just shows you that it's more about the hormones that your body's producing that you got fixed, opposed to you cutting out calories or you cutting out food groups in general. You just need to focus on having better quality food. 1, make sure you're eating more whole foods. And if you're going to have any type of carbohydrates, make sure you're having more carbs that actually got fiber in it. Rice barely has any fiber in it. Boom. You're not getting a lot of fiber. And who is only eating 1 cup of rice? Nobody does. When you go to that restaurant, they give you at least 2 cups of rice, easily. That 2 cups of rice is equivalent to me eating 10 cups of Brussels sprouts. But as you can see, even if I ate 10 full cups of Brussels sprouts, I'm still not eclipsing 2 cups of rice. So as you can see, you want to focus on having more nutrient dense carbohydrates. I can have 90 grams of carbs coming from rice, and I can have 90 grams of carbs coming from Brussels sprouts. Believe it or not, I can still expect the scale to drop more with the 90 grams of carbs coming from Brussels sprouts than the rice, only because of the hormones that my body's producing when I have the Brussels sprouts opposed to rice. But the best thing you can do just for your overall hormonal profile, make sure you cut off your eating 3 hours before the time you actually attempt to go to bed. Which means that if I go to bed at 10 o'clock, I need to make sure my last meal on average is around 7. If you're somebody who's a night owl and you probably go to sleep around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it's in your best interest to make sure you stop eating overall around 8:39. If you follow that alone, you're gonna notice that not only you're getting better quality sleep, because your body's actually finished breaking down and metabolizing the food when you actually sleep, you can start burning more body fat as well. So your hormones matter more than you think. You just gotta optimize it. You gotta focus on your sleep. But the last tip I can give to you, which is tip number 3, make sure you are moving your body. Now, ladies, y'all don't have to go on a triathlon. You do not have to be on a treadmill for an hour. But the best tip I can provide to you is make sure that after every single meal, if you have the time to do it, make sure you move your body or go for a 10-minute walk. That's it. 10 minutes. A lot of people nowadays do not have a step count over 3,500 steps. That is abysmal. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So you need to make sure you are moving your body more so you can see the scale drop more. Your body can release the triglycerides or the fatty acids into the bloodstream. But if you're not mobilizing it and you're not oxidizing it, which means burning it off, it really doesn't matter. So make sure you are shooting for, at least in 2025, 8 to 10,000 steps a day. And now your body's gonna have more reason to burn more of that back row, that fupa, and that back wing, or that teacher's arm, well, a lot of people like to call it. Alright? Hope y'all learned something today. And that's your reset tip of the day. That's gonna be Stay Snatch all the time, not at some time. A bonus tip I can give to you is make sure for 1 full week, write down everything that you put in your mouth. I don't care if you get a peppermint from the doctor's office. Write it down. That way you're fully aware of, wow, I probably do eat a little bit more than what I thought. And B, I'm noticing that majority of the things that I like to eat is man-made. And what is man-made? Something that comes in a bag, box, or barcode. Follow that for a whole entire month and see if you don't lose about 10 to 12 pounds. Cool? Talk to you soon.